Okay, open this public hearing, easement to extinguishment at 35601 Valley View Drive. I'm going to turn it over to our city planner, Jacob Grayson.
Thank you. So this isn't a land use hearing, so I don't have to read all that legal stuff. And these aren't that common. Less than one a year in the almost 12 years I've been here. But it does come up occasionally. So what we're doing is we want to get rid of a public utility easement. We have this hearing because we're getting rid of something with a public interest, and so we have to have this opportunity for comment. This one is kind of interesting, the history of it. This is up in the Elk Ridge Estates subdivision up on Hankey Road. And this is part of Phase 1 that was platted in the 90s. And this little stub street here, Ridgeview Drive, was vacated in 2007. And normally today's subdivisions graphically show the easements. But an old school thing that used to be done is there was a note on the subdivision that would say, there's an easement around this area. So back when they vacated this street, nothing happened to the easements along it, and they ended up
Now there's a house.
building a house over it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The street was never developed, so we know there's no utilities in it. And this came up because it was going up for sale, and we kind of hustled to put this hearing together. Originally, I told the people we're really busy. I don't know if we can get it till June, but we're able to swing it. That's why it was at 6:55. But it is a simple matter, and we didn't expect much controversy. The one thing that we wanted that wasn't thought of back in 2007 was to make sure that we have a public utility easement along Valley View Drive, because in the area where it was vacated, you don't automatically get that easement. If you read the report, you would see that it talks about having that, but what I have right here is that easement has already been recorded, so that's taken care of. That's no longer an issue. We don't see any controversy with it. Of course, we'll take public testimony, but our recommendation is to sign the quitclaim deed, which is actually on your regular session agenda for tonight. And you get that signed, recorded, and that easement goes away. The problem goes away. The lot can be sold, and we all live happily ever after.
Who caught it? The title company or the county?
Surveyor. Yeah, they did the boundary surveyor. Dave Reynolds called me and said, "Hey,
yeah,
what's going on here?" So we talked about it, and we were hoping that it was kind of this weird thing that probably wouldn't matter, but the title company wanted it to be cleaned up, and so that's why we're here. If you don't have any questions, we can see if anybody wants to talk about it. This is a good time to see if anybody has anything burning. I don't see any. And we have
Shauna Harrison, St. Helens. I wanted to talk about this because of the location, because there's another subdivision. It looks like this subdivision on Hankey was probably withdrawn because of this issue. Maybe?
Withdrawn?
Withdrawn, yeah. The Hankey subdivision at the... right there. Is it on?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So, the property that you're talking about, do you have a better map of it?
Yeah, Kathy, there's another map that shows phase 1 of this subdivision. Probably the next page. Yeah, there you go. So it's lot 11 at the very top, and you can see the Ridgeview Drive kind of shaded out just below that. So that's the lot in question. So to the northeast, you have phase 2, which is a whole bunch of new lots, and that's almost built out. God, it may be built out now. And then to the northwest, you have phase 6, which we'll be asking for the mayor's signature on really soon. So you think that there's a subdivision?
No, I just was wondering, so, because originally when, just like with down at Emerald Meadows, for example, when you guys stub in a road and there's a roadblock, subdivision, are we going to be building on eventually into here, or are we not? How are we going to maybe marry these streets and these subdivisions together? I'm just wondering why you guys never thought about, or why that wasn't going to possibly be a thorough road up there into the next development.
That decision predated me. I looked in the file, I know it was pretty crazy then, like it is now. It was before the Great Recession, so there wasn't a lot of detail in there. But the city at the time figured that it wouldn't work. And if we had a map of phase 2, you would see that it's not really needed. I think they kind of changed the street pattern.
Okay, yeah. No, I was just curious what the thought process was on that. That was
I think what
something that I
happened
just
is because this phase 1 was done in the 90s, and then there wasn't really any activity until about 10 years later, and the history of this project has been, we have files from the 80s on this thing, and it's almost like, is it cursed? There's plenty of stuff going on there. Don't tell your clients it's cursed.
I know. Well, I'm from here, so I know all about that property.
So it's, there's
79.
been a lot of stuff, a lot of change of ownership, and I think this is probably a reflection of some of that history.
Okay. All right. I was just curious because I know that the other development, just in regards to ingress, egress, Hankey Road in general is not a very forgiving or very graceful road to have to drive up and down for those developments in general. So that's just why I was wondering. So with that other development, there will be no other ties into any other developments.
The one to the south of it?
Correct.
Well, that's a subdivision proposal we have yet to review.
Okay.
And I'm sure it'll be a fun one.
All right. Thanks.
Any other testimony on this matter?
Okay, hearing none, public hearing's closed.